Was it so nice to have a day off? And anything fun go on this weekend? You moved stuff around? You didn't really have it off? No, Katie didn't do anything. Milo had a soccer tournament, so we went to soccer games. Ooh, art. Oh, that's cool, Lizzie. Oh, that's cool, Sam. Is it close to you, or is it somewhere you can watch it? You had to clean. No. No. Milo had a bunch of soccer games. Friday, 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday. Ooh, pumpkin festival. Where was your pumpkin festival at, Heidi? You guys are all so fun. We need to pick pumpkins. We still have not done that at my house yet. We need to get some pumpkins. Do you all have pumpkins yet? Do you like to get pumpkins? And listen, don't say it's like a little kid thing. I loved carving pumpkins like still today. When I would come home from winter breaks, even in college, we would do pumpkin things with my family. Yes. There's some really cool, awesome pumpkins you can do. Neat designs. Yeah, you should bring them in and show. You guys are awesome. Awesome. So, do you Sorry, I'm trying to watch everything. That's awesome. It's in North Dakota. That's amazing. So you're out in North Dakota. I love that, Heidi. You have to like take some pictures for us. I bet it's beautiful out there. Oh, how exciting. When I love OHVA because you can be in class, right? You can be in school and not miss school, but yet you can still do things like that. No, we have school tomorrow. That's an old schedule. We have school tomorrow. Sorry. We do have school tomorrow. We didn't have school Friday. So Friday was our family day. Oh, good. Wonderful. Well, let's jump into biology. Take a peek at the cell membrane again today. Would anyone like to start us out by reading? Any readers for today's objectives? All right, let's do this. Draven, I'm going to have you read on the next slide because these are so short. It really could be like one goal. So because we're going to go to the next slide and there's a bunch to read. Perfect. All right, so Gracie, I'm going to have you go first. And then when we flip to the next slide, Draven, that's you.
Okay, firstly, my mic has been very not nice to me. Is it working?
It's working.
Woo! Yes, okay. Can you describe passive transport? What is a diffusion and what is osmosis? Oh, thank you.
Good. Yes, you're right. It's osmosis. It's a tricky word. Good. So passive transport is what we're going to be talking today. These I would highlight as our vocabulary words for today. Can anybody write on the board or tell me in chat what you think any of those words mean? You really do a great job. And you're always smiling, Gracie. I like that too. Anybody know what any of those words mean? Okay. So osmosis is familiar. Good. You're right. There is separation in diffusion. So we've got an idea of separation happening in diffusion, what that means. Does anyone know what passive transport? Ooh, good, Cassie. Cassandra. Sorry, I'm giving you a nickname. Ooh, going through slowly. Good. If I could give you a grade, I will give you like a C. This is like right in the middle. We've got a good idea. We've got our wheels cranking on what passive diffusion, osmosis, and diffusion are. So let's take a little bit of what we know in our brain and build on that. And Draven's going to read for us this top gray box.
All right. How do molecules move in and out of the cell to maintain homeostasis? Passive transports allow materials to cross cell membranes without using energy. It may use different channels in the cell membrane for movement, but no ATP is needed.
Excellent. Thank you, Gracie and Draven. You are on it this morning. Thanks so much. Awesome. So molecules move in and out of a cell to maintain homeostasis. What is that? What is homeostasis? Homeostasis. Homeostasis. Somebody tell me what that means. It's really, yes, it has to do with living. It somewhat has to do with staying at the same temperature, okay? So when you're sick and you have a fever, your body basically turns up the thermostat in your body to fight off infection. All right? Does it want to stay at a high temperature all the time? No. All right, homeostasis means kind of like equilibrium. All right, they like to stay calm and chill and in a controlled space. I feel like we all really just want to always feel at homeostasis. Does that make sense? Like when I was dealing with trying to find out whether I had cancer, I was like, I don't want to wake up every morning and start thinking like, oh no, what's going to happen next and how's this going to affect my family and what am I going to have to be brave for and like right? I like waking up like I woke up today. Right? And it was like, all right, here's a typical day in my typical place of living with my typical sweatshirt and blanket in my chair, right? Yes, like this is normal. I just kept saying I want to be normal. And normal looks better than like normal is better to me now than it was before, right? When we live in extremes, right? We are normal. So cells just like we like to live in our comfortable space, right? I had a roommate from college. She was one of my best friends. Came and lived in our house this summer, but she stayed for like 6 days, 5 nights. It was a long time. It was a long time. We had to share a space, like our bathrooms, kitchen, our like groceries, like her kids are making messes, my kids are making messes. And as much as I love her and like one night was really fun, it was starting to get stressful, right? Like cuz I felt like I couldn't just be me in my space and then I was constantly cleaning up after more people and cooking for more people and cleaning for you see what I'm saying? So homeostasis is almost like a comfort. Okay, give me an emoji if you're feeling me on what that is. An equilibrium, your norm. It's where you want to be, right? It's home. I kind of like that even though it's a big weird word. I like to go on vacation, But the only reason I like to come home is for my home, right? Yep, home is stable. It's a place where I have the things I need and the people I love, right? Now, it means this too. It may not always be extremely fun, right? It might be like, I'm going to get up and do work with everybody today, right? Do life with my students and go to staff meetings and grade some homework and make some assignments, right? So I'm not like, going to climb the edge of a mountain today or snorkeling in the fish of the ocean. But it's normal. It's home. It's comfort, right? And our cells want to stay that way too. They don't want these extremes. They happen, but they're trying to always work to get home. All right. Why do you think I put this picture of this skier right here? What do you think? That's something I've never done. I have never skied before. The structure, maybe. What about the structure? Tell me more. What does she look like? What is the direction she seems to be going right now? Down. All right, she's working hard to stabilize her body, but is she running or sprinting up a mountain? She's going home. She's going down. Right now, is she using a ton of energy? Yeah, she's sliding. No, she might feel differently. I mean, I'm sure it takes a lot of energy just to maintain that tuck position. But yeah, why I use this is because the most important indicator for passive transport is that it does not require energy. All right. In passive transport, they say it moves with the concentration gradient. All right. I really wish we were in the classroom right now because I would do something. So we're going to pretend. All right. We're going to go to a whiteboard. You're going to all be over here. And we're going to pretend that I am putting you all into one hotel room. Okay? This is the hotel room. Right here. This is going to be the door in the blue. All right. This is not a suite. This is not a suite. This is a one-bedroom studio hotel room. And I'm shoving all 84 of you into this room. All right? And then I'm going to shut the door. All right? I'm shutting the door. How are you feeling? All 84 of you in this tiny little room. Breaks down on the floor, cramped, hot, suffocated. Yeah. Good. So what happens? All right, I'm just going to say, what if I opened the door and then I didn't just open the door, but I said, okay, guys, if any of you would like to come, ooh, that's not the right thing. If any of you would like to come to this other room across the hallway, all right, pretend it's the same size, all right. What are you going to do? Are you all going to stay in here? Use your pointers. Show me what you're going to do. Put your pointer over here, and then I want you to show me. If you're going to stay, I want you to leave your pointer here. If you're going to go, I want you to move. Some of you are running away down the hallway. Perfect. Okay, now look. Now look. What does it look like in both rooms? There was movement until what? Until they about looked equal. Yeah. Yeah, they moved until they were about the same. Guys, this is passive transport. 100%. Like when I opened this door, I didn't have to convince most of you to get the heck out of there and go find some more space for yourself. This is exactly what molecules do. Tar and feather. They're getting rid of me. But does that make sense? Molecules, if they're in a high area of concentration, they naturally, if they are given an opportunity, are looking to get out. They move from an area of what we would call all of us trapped in this little tiny hotel room, an area of high concentration. All right. If they have the opportunity, they are going to move from an area of high concentration to an area of what? What would we call this? If that's high concentration, we would call this good, low concentration. Okay? It's the movement of molecules from high to low. That's what passive transport is. Literally, you just did it. You moved yourself from a very crowded room to a room with more space. This is concentration gradient. I didn't have to start offering cash rewards for people to move, did I? You guys all went running. I didn't even have to give you anything. All right, so some examples of what that is in a cell are called diffusion. I want you to, if you have those index cards that, oh, I didn't mean to turn my camera off. If you have those index cards that I've challenged you to put near your space or have a piece of paper. Under passive transport, I want you to write these examples. You will 100% need to know this for the test, end of course test in the spring. Diffusion is a form of passive transport. Osmosis is a form of passive transport. Facilitated diffusion. It's a form of what? Passive transport. All right. Good. We will look at what those are, but I need you to know that passive transport does not require what? Everybody in chat, show me passive equals no energy. And energy or no ATP, because that's what ATP is. Everybody, we're going to put this into our brains. There are 82 of you in this room. Lots of passive equals no energy, no ATP. Okay? Passive equals no energy, no ATP. I want everybody doing that. Yep. Awesome. All right, Lizzie, will you read right here? We're going to look at diffusion, which is a form of what?
It's a form of passive transport.
Aw, thank you, Lizzie. Even hopping on the mic, that made my teacher heart so happy. Thank you. You want to read for us?
Sure. Diffusion moves molecules from high concentration to low concentration until equilibrium is reached.
Yes, excellent job. Thank you. That's exactly what we just talked about. Diffusion is the movement of molecules from high to low. So look right here. The red is in an area of high. It's this dye that was dropped into the water. Just like we know if we did that here, right? I could do that for you. We could watch it. And that is an example of equilibrium. When dye is dropped into water and it spreads apart and eventually makes your whole cup look pink, that is diffusion. Right? You know, go ahead, do it. right? That is diffusion. You can sound so smart tonight at dinner. You can be like, look, guys, I'm going to show you an example of diffusion. You can drop some dye into a cup, and you can say, look, what's happening right now is the molecules from the dye are diffusing. That means they are moving away from each other because they're moving out of their small compressed bottle, concentrate of a bottle, and they're given space. And those dye molecules, they don't want to stay tight together if they're given the opportunity to move into space. All right. Now, diffusion of a lipid soluble membrane or molecules can pass through the membrane. So that just means if there are molecules that are able to pass through that fat bilayer of your cell, that we actually have things like water and carbon dioxide that actually diffuse through our cellular membrane all on their own. Because they're like, okay, that membrane is there for protection. And yep, I'm not sure. Sorry, I don't know what's going on in chat, but let's make sure we stay focused. I'm totally not mad. I'm glad that we're talking to each other, but let's just make sure we stay in cellular membranes right now. Awesome. This cellular membrane is protection, but some molecules can go through that lipid bilayer without help. Other molecules need assistance. All right. So this is simple diffusion, right? This is oxygen. This is carbon dioxide that can go in and out of that plasma membrane of our cell without any help. Who remembers what these things are? These purple, blue things. We said they go into the cellular membrane. They kind of look like little pimples from the outside. They're they're a part of the cell, but it was a macromolecule. Anybody remember what we call those? Starts with a P. Yeah, proteins. Good job. These are proteins. These are protein channels, okay? And they help diffusion happen when molecules cannot get through that membrane on their own because they are not fat permeable, right? They can't get through. They're not lipid permeable. They can't go through those fats on their own. So they need a doorway, right? Like, could you go in and out of my house without a door? Not unless someone in here is a ghost and I didn't know it, right? Otherwise, you need a door or window. Roger, that's funny. It's true. All right. So these are kind of like doors to our cells that molecules can be like, hey, I need in. It's crowded out here, right? Just like that door on the hotel room. These are like doors that open and allow molecules in. I kind of like this, like looking like almost like a slip and slide, right? Like you just open the door and just come in. Or maybe it's like the door to my house, right? Like it's like open door policy here. This protein channel is a little bit different. All right. This is called facilitated diffusion, but it's almost like it's got another layer of security. It's like getting on an airplane. It's very particular about what can come in and out of this channel. See how this is like a dome on each side? Only this molecule fits in this channel. Right? Versus this, it's like just open for the taking. Yeah, VIP door. Absolutely. I like that, Gracie. This is like VIP doors. Right? This is your general admission to the cell. And then this is like, all right, these are the people that paid the price for the better seat. Right? Good. Osmosis. Does somebody want to read about osmosis? Gracie, do you want to read about osmosis for us?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I sure do. Give me 1 second.
Thank you.
Osmosis is the diffusion of water across a semi-permeable membrane. Water will move in the direction where there is a high concentration of solute, low water. Goal, equalize the ratio of solvent to solvent concentration. Imagine this is
Good.
your cell. Oh, thank you.
So good. So good. Osmosis, and this is what I want you to would write on a card, is the diffusion. All right, it's a form of diffusion, but when we talk about osmosis, it's not any molecule. Osmosis is specifically the movement of water, right? Osmosis is the movement of water. So I want everyone to type right now, osmosis. Osmosis equals water. All right. It is diffusion. It is a form of passive transport. It's how things come in and out of the cell without energy, but it's not just any molecule. Osmosis is specifically water. All right. So water will move in the direction where there is a high concentration of solute. All right. That's where it's saying there might not be as much water because there's a lot of things in there that need broken down. Does everyone see that? So see this salt? It's like, oh, I see a job to do. There's salt or sugar over here, and it needs me. I am the universal solvent, right? And it's coming in and it's going to pull apart that salt. So it sees solute and kind of runs to it. It's like, I have a job to do. All right. Osmosis is the diffusion of water. Oh, let's do this. All right. There are different, so we call the crowded hotel room and the uncrowded hotel room, we call those movements different types of solutions. Okay. So when you move out, specifically in water, okay, when water moves out, we have what we call a hypertonic solution. Okay, this is going to be something you just have to memorize. Okay, when something leaves, does it get bigger or more empty? If something leaves, all right, if someone leaves your house for work this morning, is your house getting fuller or is it getting more empty? Empty. All right. So when water leaves a cell, cells start to shrivel up. Okay? They're losing water, they get smaller. When you lose water, when water goes out, the cell will shrivel up. And that is called a hypertonic solution. When water moves out and the space shrivels up. If you look at a solution like our I guess that's not true. Let's not talk about that anymore. We'll do, if you people started, you had something really delicious for dinner and your windows were open, right? And all the neighbors started smelling it and they were like, we're going to their house for dinner, right? And everyone's coming in. When things come in, what does it look like is happening? Is your house getting more empty or more full? When things come in, are things getting more empty or more full? Yeah, they're getting more full. When water moves into a cell, when water moves in, like when you're coming back from work, everybody's coming home, the house gets more full and the cell looks like that it is more full. It looks like puffed up. It looks like it could almost explode like a water balloon. All right. So hyper, if I said you're hyper, what do you think about that? What do you associate that with? Moving energy, right? Energy going out of your body, right? I'm moving a lot. Energetic, hyper, right? So I like to think about it as hyper means energy going out. And that helps me remember that the reason that the water is going out in a hypertonic solution. And a hypotonic, you want to know what? You want to know what helps me remember that it's the puffed up cell? I'm not even going to lie to you. It's ridiculous. I remember this. Hypo kind of sounds like hippo. Hypo kind of sounds like hippo. And when I think about a big old hippopotamus, I think about this big old round animal. Hypo sounds like hippo, and that's what the cells look like. They don't look like little shriveled up raisins. They look like a big old water balloon, a hippo. All right, so in a hypotonic solution, you've got big, enormous cells. In hypertonic, all the energy has left, all the water molecules have left, and the cell shrivels up. Lastly, isotonic. All right, this is like equilibrium. All right, iso is like equilibrium. It's when water is moving in a cell and out of a cell at the same rate. All right. So I want you to think about isotonic is like equilibrium. All right, we've got equilibrium. We've got hypertonic, where energy is going out and the cell is shriveling up. Water is going out and the cell is shriveling up. And a hypotonic solution, water is coming in and the cell is getting big and puffing out. Okay. Yep, iso is the same. Hypo is hippo. It gets puffy. Yep, I see the puffy O. Hypo, right? And hyper. These 100% will be on our tests, okay? Let's quickly do this. Quick check. In which direction are the water molecules going to move across the membrane? Let's look at it. Are they going to move in diffusion from A to B, from B to A, or will they not move at all? Which one? Good. Yep. Good. The answer is B. All right. A lot of us got it right. And if you didn't, that's good too, because guess what? We're all learning. And sometimes when I answer wrong is actually when I learn the most. All right. It is B. Why is it B to A? Can somebody get on their mic and tell me? It's all right.
It's B because, well, my thought was the crowded equation you did with thoughts in the room.
Yep. You're 100% right. There are more blue dots over here. So this is the high concentration. And a passive where transport is diffusion, they want to move to space. Okay? Yep, I'm so glad that helped. Thanks for popping on, Mike. See, we're helping each other learn. Next question. Osmosis moves blank molecules across the semi-permeable membrane. What kind of molecules does osmosis is osmosis regarding? Oxygen, glucose, water, or potassium? All right, if you answered C, you answered correctly. C is the correct answer. Osmosis is the movement, the diffusion of water, okay? The diffusion of water across the semi-permeable membrane. That semi-permeable membrane being our cell membrane right here, right? Our lipids. All right, diffusion moves molecules from high concentration to low concentration until equilibrium is reached. Is that true or false? I got a C, and there's not a C answer choice. 2 C's, there's not a C. You're right, the answer is true. Diffusion is the movement of molecules from high to low. From high to low without any energy. We don't need ATP. I don't need to convince you to move. It's more comfortable that way. Show me with your pointers on the next slide. Do you think you could describe what passive transport is? Maybe even act out or do a picture of diffusion. And you just told me what osmosis was in that question. Lots of yeses. I feel like we hit those pretty well today. I have, as a next step for you, a video that you can watch if you would like on your own today. Again, remember, coming to class is part of it. It's going to make you successful by being here and participating and listening and sitting at your computer. But you have got to also go and do things that are relevant outside of class. Otherwise, you're never going to reinforce what is happening in class with your brain. All right, so we're going to move things from our temporary knowledge to our permanent memory when we actually do questions or do flashcards or make diagrams, okay? So make sure that you do those things. We're going to have a quiz that we have due today, all right, by noon. It should already be in there. It should be open. And I know you have another class to get off to. You guys who participated today in chat and on mic and on camera are amazing. You're wonderful. You make this class beneficial to me and to your classmates. Thanks for being here. Thanks for participating. And I'll see you tomorrow morning, okay? Have a good day. Have a good Monday. All right. I will. Thank you so much, Addison.